The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with activity as representatives from various alien races took their seats. The topic of today's meeting was the rising threat of the humans, a relatively new species that had begun to explore the stars. Many council members scoffed at the idea of humans being a threat, believing their primitive technology and weapons posed no real danger to the advanced civilizations of the galaxy. Ambassador Zorgax, a tall, tentacled being from the planet Krillian, stood up to address the council. "Fellow council members," he began, his voice echoing through the chamber, "I believe we are wasting our time discussing these humans. Their weapons are laughable compared to our advanced technology. They pose no threat to us." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the room as other council members nodded their heads in approval. However, not everyone shared this sentiment. Ambassador Thaxer, a wise and ancient being from the planet Sephiria, raised his hand to speak. "While it is true that human technology may seem primitive to us," Thaxer said, his voice calm and measured, "we should not underestimate their potential. They have shown remarkable adaptability and resourcefulness in their short time exploring the galaxy." Zorgax scoffed at Thaxer's words. Adaptability and resourcefulness mean nothing in the face of superior firepower. We could crush the humans easily if we wanted to. The council erupted into a heated debate, with some members agreeing with Zorgax and others siding with Thaxer. As the arguments grew more intense, a small delegation of humans entered the chamber, led by Ambassador Sarah Thompson. The human delegation had come to the council to plead their case, hoping to establish peaceful relations with the other races of the galaxy. However, as Ambassador Thompson approached the podium to speak, she was met with hostile stares and mocking laughter from many of the council members. "Look at them," Zorgax sneered, pointing at the humans. "They don't even have proper protective gear. Their suits are made of flimsy fabric, and their weapons look like toys." Ambassador Thompson held her ground, her voice calm but firm as she addressed the council. "I understand that our technology may seem primitive to you," she said, "but we come in peace. We seek to establish friendly relations with all races in the galaxy and to learn from your advanced civilizations." Her words were met with more laughter and derision from the council members. Zorgax stood up again, his voice dripping with contempt. "Learn from us. What could we possibly learn from a species as backward as yours? Your weapons are a joke, and your technology is centuries behind ours. You are no threat to us, and we have no interest in establishing relations with you." Ambassador Thompson tried to respond, but her words were drowned out by the jeers and taunts of the council members. Realizing that they would not be heard, the human delegation had no choice but to leave the chamber, their hopes for peaceful relations dashed. As the humans left, Thaxer watched them go, a sense of unease growing in his mind. He knew that the council had made a grave mistake in underestimating the humans, and he feared that their arrogance would come back to haunt them. In the days that followed, the council continued to mock and belittle the humans, confident in their superiority. Little did they know that the humans were not as weak as they appeared, and that their weapons were far more advanced than the council had realized. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the very foundations of the Galactic Council and forever change the balance of power in the galaxy. The humans, once mocked and dismissed, would soon show the Council the true strength of their resolve and the power of their weapons. As the human delegation returned to Earth, they wasted no time in preparing for the inevitable conflict with the Galactic Council. The leaders of Earth's nations gathered together to discuss the situation and develop a plan of action. General Marcus Thompson, the elder brother of Ambassador Sarah Thompson, took charge of the military preparations. He had always been a visionary, and he had long suspected that Earth would one day need to defend itself against hostile alien forces. Under General Thompson's guidance, Earth's scientists and engineers began working on a secret project to develop advanced weapons and technology that could rival those of the alien races. They studied the limited data they had on alien technology and reverse-engineered what they could, incorporating the knowledge into their own designs. As the weeks turned into months, Earth's factories worked around the clock to produce the new weapons and equipment. The best and brightest minds from across the planet came together to create a formidable arsenal, the likes of which had never been seen before. Meanwhile, in the depths of space, the Galactic Council continued to underestimate the humans. They believed that the primitive species posed no real threat and that they could easily crush them if necessary. The council members went about their daily lives, confident in their superiority and dismissive of the growing threat from Earth. However, not everyone on the council was so blind to the potential danger. Ambassador Thaxter, who had spoken up in defense of the humans during the initial meeting, continued to warn his fellow council members about the need for caution. "We must not underestimate the humans," Thaxter said, his voice filled with concern. "They may seem primitive to us, but they have shown remarkable ingenuity and determination. We should seek to establish peaceful relations with them before it is too late." But Thaxter's warnings fell on deaf ears. The other council members dismissed his concerns, believing that he was being overly cautious and that the humans were no match for their advanced technology. As the tensions between Earth and the Galactic Council continued to rise, the humans knew that they needed to gather more intelligence on their potential enemy. They sent out small, cloaked ships to spy on the alien races, gathering data on their technology, weapons, and military capabilities. The human spies soon discovered that the alien races were not as united as they appeared. There were divisions and rivalries among the council members, and some races were secretly sympathetic to the humans' cause. Armed with this knowledge, General Thompson and his team began to formulate a plan. They knew that they could not take on the entire Galactic Council alone, but if they could exploit the divisions among the alien races, they might stand a chance. As the preparations for war continued, the humans knew that they were racing against time. They had to strike before the Galactic Council realized the full extent of their capabilities and launched a preemptive attack. Finally, after months of preparation, the humans were ready. They had developed a range of advanced weapons, including high-powered laser cannons, plasma rifles, and gravitational disruptors. They had also created a fleet of state-of-the-art warships equipped with the latest stealth technology and advanced shielding. As the human fleet set out into space, General Thompson knew that they were embarking on a mission that would determine the fate of their species. They were no longer the primitive, backward civilization that the Galactic Council had dismissed. They were a force to be reckoned with, and they would not go down without a fight. The stage was set for a showdown that would shake the foundations of the galaxy. The humans, once mocked and underestimated, were about to show the Galactic Council what they were truly capable of. The first clash of arms was about to begin, and the outcome would determine the future of both Earth and the wider galaxy. The day had finally arrived. The human fleet, led by General Thompson, had reached the outskirts of a small alien outpost on the edge of Galactic Council space. The outpost was a minor target, but the humans had chosen it carefully. They knew that a victory here would send a powerful message to the rest of the galaxy. As the human ships approached the outpost, the alien defenders scrambled to respond. They had not expected an attack, least of all from the primitive humans they had dismissed so easily. The alien commander, a grizzled veteran named Krazax, ordered his troops to mobilize and prepare for battle. The human fleet wasted no time in launching their attack. They knew that they had to strike hard and fast before the aliens could bring their full might to bear. The human ships opened fire with their advanced weapons, raining down a hail of laser and plasma fire on the alien defenses. The alien ships returned fire, but their weapons were no match for the humans' advanced technology. The human ship shields absorbed the alien fire easily, while their own weapons tore through the alien hulls like paper. On the ground, human troops in powered armor stormed the alien outpost, their weapons blazing. The aliens fought back bravely, but they were outmatched by the humans' superior technology and training. Krazax himself led a counterattack, his plasma rifle spitting fire as he charged towards the human lines. But even he was no match for the humans' weapons. A blast from a human plasma cannon struck him in the chest, burning through his armor and sending him flying backwards. As Krazax lay dying on the ground, he looked up at the human soldiers standing over him. "How?" he gasped, his voice filled with pain and confusion. "How could your primitive weapons do this?" General Thompson stepped forward, his face grim. "You underestimated us," he said quietly. "You thought we were weak, primitive, but you were wrong. We have been preparing for this day for a long time, and now you see the results of our efforts." Krazax coughed, blood trickling from his mouth. "You may have won this battle," he said, his voice growing weaker. "But you cannot hope to stand against the full might of the Galactic Council. They will crush you like insects." General Thompson shook his head. "We'll see about that," he said. "We have more surprises in store for the Council, and we will not rest until our place in the galaxy is secure." With those words, General Thompson turned and strode away, leaving Krazax to his fate. The battle was over, and the humans had won a resounding victory, but they knew that this was only the beginning. News of the human victory spread quickly throughout the galaxy, and the Galactic Council was thrown into chaos. The council members who had dismissed the humans as primitive savages were now forced to confront the reality of their mistake. Some members of the council called for immediate retaliation against the humans, demanding that they be crushed before they could pose a greater threat. But others, led by Ambassador Thaxer, argued for caution. "We have underestimated the humans once before," Thaxer said, his voice heavy with regret. "We must not make the same mistake again. We should seek to understand them, to find a way to coexist peacefully." But the warmongers on the council would not be swayed. They argued that the humans had proven themselves to be a dangerous and unpredictable species, and that they needed to be dealt with swiftly and decisively. As the debate raged on, the humans continued to press their advantage. They launched more raids against alien outposts and supply lines, using their advanced weapons and tactics to devastating effect. The Galactic Council was forced to confront the fact that they were facing a formidable enemy, one that they had once dismissed as primitive and weak. They had underestimated the humans, and now they were paying the price. The stage was set for a wider conflict, one that would determine the fate of the galaxy itself. The humans had proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with, and the Galactic Council would have to adapt quickly if they hoped to survive. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted, and things would never be the same again. The Galactic Council was in a state of panic. The news of the humans' victory against the alien outpost had spread like wildfire, and the council members were struggling to come to terms with the reality of the situation. Ambassador Zorgax, who had once been the most vocal critic of the humans, was now strangely silent. He sat in his quarters, his mind racing as he tried to make sense of what had happened. How could the primitive humans have developed such advanced weapons? And how had the council been so blind to the threat they posed? As Zorgax pondered these questions, a message came through on his communicator. It was from the council's intelligence division, and the news it contained was even more disturbing than the reports of the human victory. According to the intelligence reports, the humans had been busy in the months leading up to the attack. They had sent spies and infiltrators to gather information on the Council's military capabilities and technology. They had studied the Council's weaknesses and vulnerabilities, and had used that knowledge to plan their attack. Zorgax felt a growing sense of unease as he read through the reports. The humans were not just primitive savages with advanced weapons. They were a cunning and resourceful enemy, one that had been underestimated at every turn. The Council needed to act quickly if they were to have any hope of stopping the humans. Zorgax knew that he had to put aside his pride and admit that he had been wrong about the humans. He had to convince his fellow council members to take the threat seriously, before it was too late. Zorgax called an emergency meeting of the council, and the members gathered in the council chambers to discuss the crisis. The atmosphere was tense and charged, with many members still struggling to accept the reality of the situation. "We have made a grave mistake," Zorgax said, his voice heavy with regret. "We underestimated the humans, and now we are paying the price. We must act quickly if we are to have any hope of stopping them." Some members of the council still clung to their old beliefs, arguing that the humans were no match for the might of the Galactic Council. But others, swayed by the intelligence reports and the undeniable evidence of the human victory, began to come around to Zorgak's point of view. "We must launch a full-scale attack on the humans," one member said, his voice filled with anger. "We must crush them before they can do any more damage." But Zorgak shook his head. "No," he said, "a full-scale attack is exactly what the humans want. They have been preparing for this, and they will be ready for us. We must be smarter than that." Zorgax outlined his plan. The Council would gather its forces and launch a series of targeted strikes against key human targets. They would use their superior technology and resources to overwhelm the humans, while at the same time working to undermine their support among the other races of the galaxy. It would not be an easy fight, Zorgax warned. The humans had proven themselves to be a formidable enemy, and they would not go down without a fight. But if the Council could put aside its differences and work together, they might still have a chance. As the Council members debated and argued, Zorgax could not shake the feeling that they were running out of time. The humans were growing stronger every day, and the longer the Council waited to act, the harder it would be to stop them. Finally, after hours of debate, the Council reached a decision. They would launch a massive attack on the humans, using all the resources and technology at their disposal. They would show the galaxy that the Galactic Council was still the dominant power, and that the humans were nothing more than upstarts who had gotten lucky. As the Council members left the chambers to prepare for the coming battle, Zorgax couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. He had a feeling that the humans would not go down as easily as the Council believed. They had already proven themselves to be a resourceful and determined enemy, and Zorgax knew that the Council would need all its strength and cunning to defeat them. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and the coming days would determine who would emerge victorious. The Galactic Council had underestimated the humans once before, and they had paid the price. Now, they would have to fight with everything they had to prevent the humans from taking over the galaxy once and for all. The stage was set for the greatest battle the galaxy had ever seen. The Galactic Council had gathered its forces from across the stars, bringing together the most advanced ships and weapons in the known universe. They were determined to crush the humans once and for all, and to reassert their dominance over the galaxy. On the other side, the humans had been preparing for this moment for months. They had studied the Council's tactics and weaknesses, and had developed a strategy that they believed would give them the best chance of victory. They knew that they were outnumbered and outgunned, but they were ready to fight to the last man to defend their right to exist. As the two fleets gathered in the void of space, the tension was palpable. The Council ships were massive and imposing, bristling with weapons and shielding. The human ships, by contrast, were smaller and more agile, but they were equipped with the most advanced technology that Earth had to offer. The battle began with a fierce exchange of fire. The Council ships unleashed a barrage of laser and plasma fire, hoping to overwhelm the human defenses with sheer firepower. But the humans had anticipated this tactic, and they had prepared accordingly. The human ships scattered and retreated, drawing the Council ships into a carefully prepared trap. As the Council ships pursued, the humans unleashed a volley of gravitational disruptor bombs, which tore through the Council's shields and hulls like paper. The Council ships reeled under the onslaught, and many of them were destroyed outright. But the Council was not about to give up so easily. They regrouped and launched a counterattack, using their superior numbers to try to overwhelm the human defenses. The battle raged on for hours, with both sides taking heavy losses. The human ships darted and weaved through the Council's formations, using their speed and agility to outmaneuver the larger and more cumbersome Council vessels. But the Council's sheer numbers began to take their toll, and the human lines began to buckle under the onslaught. Just when it seemed that all hope was lost, a new force entered the battle. A fleet of ships from the other races of the galaxy, who had been watching the conflict from the sidelines, had decided to join the fight on the side of the humans. They had seen the Council's arrogance and brutality firsthand, and they had decided that they could no longer stand by and watch as the humans were destroyed. With the arrival of these new allies, the tide of the battle began to turn. The combined human and alien fleet was able to outflank the Council's forces and launch a devastating counterattack. The Council ships, already weakened by the humans' advanced weapons, began to fall one by one. As the battle reached its climax, the flagship of the Council fleet, a massive dreadnought commanded by none other than Ambassador Zorgax himself, bore down on the human lines. It seemed unstoppable, its weapons blazing and its shields impenetrable. But the humans had one last trick up their sleeves. They had been working on a new weapon, a massive gravitational disruptor cannon that they had nicknamed the Peacemaker. As the Council flagship bore down on them, the humans unleashed the weapon, and the results were devastating. The Peacemaker tore through the Council flagship's shields like they were nothing, and the massive ship began to break apart under the onslaught. Zorgax himself was killed in the attack, his body vaporized by the intense gravitational forces. With the destruction of the Council flagship, the battle was effectively over. The remaining Council ships, demoralized and leaderless, began to retreat, leaving the field of battle to the victorious humans and their allies. The news of the human victory spread quickly throughout the galaxy, and the balance of power shifted once again. The Galactic Council, once the undisputed masters of the stars, had been humbled by a species they had once dismissed as primitive and weak. As the dust settled and the wounded were tended to, the leaders of the human fleet met with their newfound allies to discuss the future. They knew that the battle had been won, but the war was far from over. The Galactic Council would not take this defeat lying down, and they would be back, stronger and more determined than ever. But for now, the humans and their allies could celebrate their victory and take pride in the fact that they had proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with. The galaxy would never be the same again, and the future was theirs to shape. In the aftermath of the Great Battle, the galaxy was in a state of shock. The once mighty Galactic Council had been brought to its knees by a species that they had once dismissed as primitive and weak. The humans had proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with, and the other races of the galaxy were taking notice. As the dust settled and the wounded were tended to, the leaders of the human fleet and their newfound allies gathered to discuss the future. They knew that the Galactic Council would not take this defeat lying down, and that they needed to be prepared for the inevitable counterattack. But there were also those within the Council who saw the futility of continuing the war. They had seen firsthand the power and determination of the humans, and they knew that continuing to fight would only lead to more destruction and loss of life. One of these individuals was Ambassador Thaxer, who had long been a voice of reason within the Council. He had argued against underestimating the humans from the beginning, and now he saw an opportunity to forge a new path forward. Thaxer reached out to the human leaders, offering to open negotiations for a peaceful resolution to the conflict. At first, the humans were skeptical, having been burned by the Council's treachery in the past. But Thaxer was persistent, and he was able to convince them of his sincerity. The negotiations were long and difficult, with both sides having to make concessions and compromises. The humans were wary of giving up their newfound power and influence, while the Council members were reluctant to admit defeat and accept the humans as equals. But Thaxer was a skilled diplomat, and he was able to find common ground between the two sides. He argued that the galaxy was big enough for both the Council and the humans to coexist peacefully, and that by working together, they could achieve great things. Slowly but surely, the two sides began to come together. The humans agreed to share their advanced technology with the other races of the galaxy, while the Council agreed to recognize the humans as equals and to work together to maintain peace and stability. As the negotiations continued, a new sense of hope began to emerge. The galaxy had been torn apart by war and conflict for too long, and many were eager to embrace a new era of peace and cooperation. Finally, after months of intense negotiations, a treaty was signed. The humans and the Council would work together as equals, sharing knowledge and resources for the betterment of all. The other races of the galaxy would be invited to join this new alliance, and together they would work to build a brighter future. As the news of the treaty spread throughout the galaxy, there was a sense of relief and celebration. The war was over, and a new era of peace and prosperity was beginning. But there were also those who were skeptical of the treaty, and who feared that the humans would use their newfound power to dominate the other races. Some even whispered of a new human empire rising from the ashes of the old order. But the human leaders were determined to prove these skeptics wrong. They had fought hard for their place in the galaxy, and they were not about to squander it by becoming the very thing they had fought against. Instead, they worked tirelessly to build bridges between the different races and cultures of the galaxy. They shared their knowledge and technology freely, and they worked to create a new society based on mutual respect and cooperation. As the years passed, the galaxy began to heal from the wounds of war. The humans and the other races worked together to rebuild what had been lost, and to create a new future that was brighter than anything that had come before. And though there were still challenges and obstacles to overcome, the galaxy was united in a way that it had never been before. The humans had proven themselves to be more than just primitive savages with advanced weapons. They had shown that they were a force for good in the universe, and that by working together, anything was possible. The Galactic Council, once the most powerful force in the galaxy, had been humbled by the humans. But in that humbling, they had found a new path forward, one that would lead to a better future for all. And as the galaxy looked to the stars, they knew that the future was bright, and that the best was yet to come. Years had passed since the historic treaty between the humans and the Galactic Council. The galaxy had undergone a remarkable transformation, with the once warring factions now working together in harmony. The humans had proven themselves to be not just formidable warriors, but also skilled diplomats and builders. Under the leadership of General Thompson and his sister, Ambassador Sarah Thompson, the humans had worked tirelessly to forge new alliances and partnerships with the other races of the galaxy. They had shared their advanced technology and knowledge freely, helping to uplift and empower those who had once been oppressed by the Council. One of the most remarkable examples of this new spirit of cooperation was the joint human-alien research station on the planet Zephyria. Here, scientists and engineers from across the galaxy worked together to push the boundaries of what was possible, developing new technologies and solutions to the challenges that faced the galaxy. Among the most promising projects at the research station was the development of a new form of faster-than-light travel, which promised to revolutionize space exploration and commerce. The project was led by a brilliant human scientist named Dr. Lena Sorensen, who had become something of a celebrity in the scientific community. As the research station buzzed with activity, Ambassador Thaxter, who had become a close friend and ally of the humans, paid a visit to see the progress being made. He was impressed by what he saw, and he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in how far the galaxy had come. As he walked through the research station with Dr. Sorensen, Thaxter couldn't help but reflect on the events that had brought them to this point. He remembered the arrogance and cruelty of the old council, and how they had underestimated the humans at every turn. But he also remembered the bravery and determination of the human warriors, who had fought against impossible odds to secure their place in the galaxy. And he remembered the wisdom and compassion of leaders like General Thompson and Ambassador Sarah Thompson, who had worked tirelessly to build a new future for all. As they walked, Dr. Sorensen spoke excitedly about the progress they were making with the new faster-than-light technology. She explained how it would allow ships to travel vast distances in a matter of days, opening up new frontiers for exploration and commerce. Thaxter listened intently, marveling at the ingenuity and creativity of the human scientists. He knew that there were still those in the galaxy who harbored resentment towards the humans, believing that they had overstepped their bounds and that they would one day pose a threat to the other races. But Thaxter knew better. He had seen firsthand the goodness and compassion of the human people, and he knew that they were a force for positive change in the galaxy. He knew that the future was bright, and that together they could achieve great things. As they continued their tour of the research station, Thaxter couldn't help but feel a sense of optimism and hope for the future. The galaxy had come so far in such a short time, and he knew that there was still so much more to be accomplished. And he knew that at the heart of it all were the humans, the once dismissed and underestimated species who had proven themselves to be so much more than anyone had ever imagined. They had shown that with determination, courage, and compassion, anything was possible. As the tour came to an end and Thaxter prepared to depart, he shook Dr. Sorensen's hand and thanked her for her incredible work. And as he boarded his ship to return to his own world, he knew that he had been witness to something truly remarkable. The galaxy had been forever changed by the Human-Alien Alliance, and Thaxter knew that it was only the beginning. There would be challenges and obstacles to come, but he also knew that together they could overcome anything. And as he looked out at the stars, he couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and wonder at the incredible journey that lay ahead. The galaxy was vast and full of endless possibilities, and Thaxter knew that with the humans by their side, there was nothing they couldn't achieve. As the decades passed, the alliance between the humans and the other races of the galaxy continued to flourish. The once primitive species had become one of the most respected and influential members of the galactic community, known for their wisdom, compassion, and technological prowess. The Human-Alien Research Station on Zephyria had become a shining beacon of innovation and discovery, attracting the brightest minds from across the galaxy. Under the leadership of Dr. Lena Sorensen, the station had made countless breakthroughs in fields ranging from medicine to energy production, improving the lives of billions across the galaxy. But perhaps the most significant development of all was the creation of a new galactic governing body, one that truly represented the interests of all species. The old Galactic Council, with its arrogance and disregard for the rights of others, had been dismantled and replaced by a new organization known as the United Galactic Federation. The Federation was a true democracy, with representatives from every species and every corner of the galaxy. It was a testament to the power of cooperation and unity, and a shining example of what could be achieved when different cultures and civilizations worked together towards a common goal. At the heart of the Federation were the humans, who had played a key role in its creation and continued to be one of its most active and influential members. Ambassador Sarah Thompson, now a respected elder stateswoman, served as one of the Federation's most trusted advisors, using her wisdom and experience to guide the organization through countless challenges and crises. As the Federation continued to grow and evolve, the galaxy entered a new era of peace and prosperity. Wars became a thing of the past, as conflicts were resolved through diplomacy and negotiation rather than violence and bloodshed. Trade and commerce flourished, as the faster-than-light technology developed by Dr. Sorensen and her team made it possible to transport goods and people across vast distances in a matter of days. The galaxy had become a true global community, with different species and cultures mixing and mingling in ways that had once seemed impossible. But even as the galaxy celebrated its newfound unity and harmony, there were still challenges to be faced. New threats emerged from the depths of space, as unknown alien races and mysterious cosmic phenomena tested the resolve and resilience of the Federation. But the humans and their allies faced these challenges with the same courage and determination that had carried them through their darkest hours. They stood together, united in their commitment to protecting the galaxy and preserving the hard-won peace that they had fought so long and so hard to achieve. As the years turned into decades and then into centuries, the legacy of the humans and their incredible journey continued to inspire and guide the galaxy. The story of their rise from a primitive, dismissed species to one of the most respected and influential members of the galactic community became the stuff of legend, passed down from generation to generation as a testament to the power of the human spirit. And though the galaxy continued to change and evolve, the memory of the humans and their incredible achievements never faded. They had shown the galaxy what was possible when different species and cultures worked together towards a common goal, and their example continued to inspire and guide the Federation for countless generations to come. As the old saying went, The galaxy was a vast and wondrous place, full of endless possibilities and untold wonders. And at the heart of it all, guiding the way forward with wisdom, compassion, and unwavering determination, were the humans, the once dismissed species who had proven themselves to be so much more than anyone had ever imagined. And as the Federation looked to the future, they knew that the best was yet to come. With the humans by their side, there was nothing they couldn't achieve, no challenge they couldn't overcome, no frontier they couldn't explore. The galaxy had been forever changed by the incredible journey of the humans, and as the Federation looked to the stars, they knew that the future was bright, and that the best was yet to come. The humans had shown them the way, and together, they would build a better tomorrow for all the species of the galaxy.